Alright. Here I want to go through the movie list because it inspires some comments. Yeah, I just read some titles. Mandela Effect, glitch in the matrix, glitches in the matrix. This is also when even airplanes stop suddenly in the air, like frozen. And I wouldn't have quoted it right now because everyone can say, of course, you can stop the video. You're always kind of asking, this is fake or not. But also a close girlfriend of mine told me that she already saw this happening. These things really make you question everything. Glitches in the matrix, yeah. And there will also come in the end a very, very cool video about, how's it called, how to teleport for real. This guy telling his teleportation experience when he drove in the car and it was long time to go and how suddenly he was not anymore 30 kilometers away from home but only 5 kilometers. He switched through without consciously desiring it or something. It just happened to him. And he got into, and he explains it very, very cool how it is connected and how this is ultimate to understand, and that your mind also gets, and it is not, your mind cannot grasp and understand all these things logically. You have to get rid of wanting to explain everything in words and with science and with whatever. It is all happening here, from here, and there you have analogies, and whatever you feel is instant. And also know that in the fifth dimension we are all one soul. We are not many souls we are one soul. And what we experience now are different aspects of this one soul. Therefore the Maya already say this greeting, like they say in Lag Ech, I am another you. So, yeah, and in the fifth also everything is simultaneously, instantly manifesting. And this is our, and now, right now, we are already not anymore in the third dimension. We already entered the first dimension, and we have many phases every day experiencing the fifth already, through the déjà vu, through synchronicities, through inner visions, through this intuitive feelings. So it already, yeah, we already go the dimensions up and down and up and down, and yeah, that's. This will come greatly in a very short video. It's called "Do You Exist in a Parallel Universe?" And this was the reason why I studied physics. I was drawn to where the logic ends, where human logic cannot anymore explain. This was quantum physics, and this is now really, and also in the end, when in this video, I promise you haven't seen a Mandela Effect video like this one. There's Sue Larson telling that it is actually not a special thing that this happens, but how does he call? Quote from the paper of Stephen Hawking and the other physicists, and the quote is, quantum mechanics forbids a single line history. It's as simple as that. It is not possible for some whatever to have a single line history. It has a multiple line history. It is all multiple, parallel, multiverse faceted. And this shows up because we are now ready to get it. It didn't show up in the years before because our consciousness was not yet on the evolution. It had to evolve more and more because it would have been too much at once when it came 20 years ago or something. At least not for it goes now public. It goes now really viral. Yeah. Alright, carry on here. Yeah, Mandela effect, when do we shift? Déjà vu, paradoxical sleep. REM in the sleep phase. This is how your fast eye movement can click, 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 click. In the dream state, most when we go to tonight and we wake up, reality has changed a lot. This makes actually a lot of sense, that every time in the sleep and this rapid eye movement in sleep, this is also what I experience in shamanic and body-owned DMT. Often in the evening, body-owned DMT, ding, I hear the frequency in the ears and I have the eyes are rolling, they are switching. Lot, and I can go through and I see parallel realities actually, and I can switch through and I can connect them, and it makes our body as a transmitter for all this multidimensional manifesting. Yeah. Also, what you need to know about the universe from wonderful Mind 444 Spiritual Tribe. This guy is awesome. Subscribe his channel. He has much more videos than I could quote here. So cool. Also about time machine and he builds stuff and he wow great. But what is shared there is especially about sound and vibration. This is what you actually just need to see in the video. How certain frequency in matter creates that particles look like this, and that our reality is held by one certain or several similar certain frequencies, and this is why it will need one big event to let go of this. And this event can happen inside, of course, there is no outside, but then once you let go, it can recreate a complete new frequency shift, reality mindset and all this. But then it goes conscious. It goes like never again there is anyone around that has no idea what is going on. Yeah. Alright, and then also the very detailed instruction on how to jump timelines, how to shift timelines consciously, how to manifest your dreams with water. We are water-based life forms. Water is knowing, and you can use it. It's very simple. This is so great. Yeah. Make a prayer out of it, make a ceremony out of it, and yeah, it will work. And then in each video some more Mandela shocking examples. And one of the greatest videos that it will come in number 3. Yes. So first 2 videos are just to getting you into, and also about what are the causes for this and shifting timelines. And then it's in part 3 is one of the biggest, greatest videos. It's called Hacking Reality Using Synchronicity by this Mind 444 Spiritual Tribe channel. Yeah, I just want to hint you that stay tuned, because it tells things that is so good to. It tells you like there is only you. There never had been anyone else. It is like in a dream. It is all how it is projected on the inner walls of your in your brain. How it is a theater, and it touches in this great video and audio cut. So yeah, be invited to this deep cinema. Yeah, and then the next one also the great Mandela Effect theory. Yes, we are in a dream. Synchronicities, symbolism, music. And how we can use positive thinking to reprogram the matrix. There Jim Carrey is such a beautiful, outstanding example how the history with him went, how he really used positive manifesting, and he wrote his own check, and he drove every day in his car like I will, and he really visualized what will happen, and he attached the things, and right, this was right where how it happened. and now he's one of the biggest DMT awakening prophets for humanity. It is so awesome, and yeah, very, very cool. I love Jim Carrey in his roles, The Mask, and he had and where he was God, and he has just all these really roles where he was placed so synchronistic, really like perfect, and also Truman Show. In the end, you realize that even that this whole dome and even the lightning in the sky and all this wouldn't be there if you wouldn't be there. And yeah, it will be. One of the Mandela effects is also that some people witness that the sun does not rise from east to west, but other way around, so rise in the west, and because when the pole shift already happened, then it will be vice versa. This is one possible explanation. But know that the Truman Show was simply a documentation like The Matrix. Yeah, this shortens this a lot. It's all helping us to understand how mind and heart create. Yeah, and then oh my god, one of the biggest to share is when I saw this, I had to cry. I was so deeply touched. It's called A Timeline Without the Illuminati. This wonderful woman, she has so many déjà vu flashes into her existing in another timeline, and she describes it so detailed and heart-touching, and it should be like this and not like this, and how every kind of living is not anymore like we experience. It is so great, and this went really deep under my skin, and I had to cry a lot when I saw this first and second time. So this is where I decided to make here an extra hint for it that will come in part 4 of this movie series. It is originally quoted, but I will have to make it in mother language, in German as well, because it was like, ja, das geht in den Klartraum ein, bitte, ja, das ist der Klartraum. This is my lucid dream, our lucid dream, and it goes on this third stage. It's, yeah, just be looking forward for this, because the more we resonate with this and also go every day into detailed programming of how do not only I want to be, but my surrounding wants to be. And this is for me also the reason why I'm not very much attached to manifesting money, for example. I do not care much. It will find ways. It is not anymore, because the timeline that I see, there is not more need for money. We have found other meanings on how to create communities and how to share things, and how there's always abundance, and it's just coming right before you could even think about a need. So it is all connected telepathically, and therefore I do not fix my thing on wealth and stuff and whatever, because I'm already a lot into these other timelines. And the more you join me and us, we are many, realizing this, that we just need to focus on it intensively. Most intense is when it goes about the stories how our children will then be able to live and be raised, and how school will not be anymore sitting somewhere but going with a guide in the mountains from early age, and getting all these like yes, this is how it should be. It is really so, because it's like this system that we placed right out of our minds. It is we took away so many parts of life that should naturally be just much more near to us, and we should not go to work and all this stuff. You should be. It is. Yeah, and therefore this gets a special hint here to go into it. It is. Yeah. And then, also very interesting, then afterwards, this guy, really cool, synchronicity, Mandela effect, déjà vu are all connected. You will get to, wow, love it. And then in the end of part 4, there's also one very cool video, and the strange thing about it, that it already showed up in 2012, years before the Mandela effect even showed up. The Mandela effect showed up in 2015 or something, really relatively lately. But you even can find one video that when long before someone knew the word Mandela effect, it was researched in 2001 or 2003 or 4 by about 100 people in South America, because with Google you can read researches, and this is very strange, because up to then the Mandela effect was not known. Up to then Mandela was still died in the 80s, and then suddenly in 2015 or something it happened that he was alive since long, and it showed up. So and this wonderful woman from the celestial team seemed like being placed back in like Back to the Future, Back to the Past, and it's called "You Do Jump Timelines in a Single Moment," and she transmitted so greatly. And then fifth part is great videos by Universe Inside You. Is our reality a simulation projected by our consciousness or by someone else? Yeah. Just goes into also this wrestling with reality thing. It's really like wrestling with reality. Dimension is explained. Shifting to the 5th dimension is coming is the other video called. And also to open really up. Thank you. DMT portal to other dimensions and communication with higher beings. I do not want to argue about this. It is so great that others that did all the research on this, and yeah, because when I saw this, this is a preparation for what will be an extra outstanding video hinting to 434 channel and his epic material, where every single video is like falling on the knees, and thank you for being a transmitter for this. It couldn't be made better. Yeah. And then also very great Magenta Pixies channel, and also I've got her books right now, and it's so much clear, to the point, focused, answering how timeline jumping and how it works, that you become the living Mandela effect, that it is not something outside appearing, but you are then, and you get the effect, and how to jump timelines and how to become a master magician. Yeah. And then finally in part 6, what else wanted to be placed, because a friend came by and said, do you know this how to teleport for real video? You need to see this guy and how he explains this, and yeah, great. This will be placed there, and also then wonderful from Bentino Massaro, how to use parallel realities, shift into alternate universe. This is a shortcut from a longer speak that he told, and he speaks so clearly focused, and afterwards you really know that it is like a movie sliced into many pictures all the time, and that the one picture doesn't have to do anything with this picture. So you can be like a video editor in the movie creating, cutting this scene into this scene into this scene, and it is giving you a lot of tools and deep understanding And it's also maybe good to install it even twice, not only once, first for your conscious mind and then for your subconscious mind. And later on I will make an extra lucid dream called, it has simply to quote Bentino Massaro's epic video. It's called "You Only Need This One Video. You Are Source." It's about cutting the continuous flow of always going on, continuous thoughts, and you never get out when you not make a cut and get this 10 seconds without thinking, without conceptualizing. When you get 10 seconds without thinking, it is kind of training, but if you make it, it will completely dissociate you. You get then stopping of needing, and you are already the eternal now. It is spoken like a meditation, and then you can switch between being in the continuous time and switching timelines, but also going at any time back to the source, where there never had been a need, and you already all are all the godly love and power, and then it all drops off what you thought, what you should become, and what you wanted, and nothing anymore of this. This is like this. Because it's now also more and more coming that it is not anymore a long path where you have to do a 3-year raw food and detoxification program. It is telling me, every time I go into this shamanic realms, it's telling me stop telling people so much on your highest level, like no one can follow this. It is not about it. Don't care about what you eat and what you. In the end, it's not some out of importance, because this anyway will come through rise and frequency, and then it didn't matter. It all didn't matter, no matter what. It's all mindset. It's all frequency, and it shifts. And of course, these hints are not bad because it's making it easier for you. But in the end, you should not think like, I have now a long spiritual path, and you do not. Because the more of us are now going on this higher frequency, and the more of us follow the call of going on in the pranic lifestyle, for example. If only 1% of humanity goes and is already, and 2 and 5% is now already on the way to be manifestors, to pranic beingness, then suddenly, like when the caterpillar becomes butterfly, it is a critical mass, and then it comes a cluck, and all have all the abilities that all the formerly highest developed spiritual beings had. Will all be in one singular point available, all these magic skills and understanding and all this. And then just to do not think you have to, because everyone is in its own reality, in its own circumstances, and it's about freeing you from anything you thought you of a long spiritual enlightenment path. About spiritual enlightenment, then one of the so great to listen to David R. Hawking's awakening enlightenment story. How he was sitting in the restaurant on just a usual day, and suddenly he had this enlightenment experience, and he melted, and he got one with, and for hours he was one with everything, and he saw was no more I, and there were broad things, and things just happened, and he was completely dissociated, and he saw the oneness and the wholeness, and it is getting you this Google the skin when you listen, and then okay, this is now shall not be this was now the short preview of what is about to come, and yes, and here I add on. Did you know that even Titanic is Mandela affected? The Titanic, the ship, it sank, it still sank, but how many people died? It is so cross when you research it. Now history is that nobody actually died in this event of the Titanic sinking. Zero. There were 0 people that died. It was all posted in the newspapers because there were rescue ships nearby that just got all the people safe and sound. So really cross. It is always called Residuen, Überbleibsel, that are when you find movies or hints or photos that show to another timeline what we remember it to be. So a big residue of Titanic is, I guess, James Cameron's Titanic, where when I watched the movie, then the history was that there are many people died, but it is getting better. They didn't have to die. But how great! Wow. And there is so much more really, really cross things going on, and so much quotes, and you can get for days and weeks into, and just to have the thrill and middle in the night, like, whoa, I cannot believe it, and then you have to get all the movies or whatever you remember and research it. It is kind of fun hunting the Mandela effects. But in the end, yeah, you can just stop with it and go to the next levels, what now also follow in the next Mandela Effect LucidDream-Klartraum videos, because this is just the beginning. It is getting better and better. Yeah. Wonderful. And now, as I found so many great pictures in the last days, well, I will anyway now make an exception and make a afterlude here with music and these pictures, because they go deep, yeah.